my crooked chicken coop.
I don't think it's a chicken coop that's crooked. I think it's the wood. Since we used reclaimed wood, right?
A lot of reclaimed wood.
So the problem with reclaimed wood or wood that's been sitting out for a long time is it gets bowed and twisted. I would say at least half of the coop structure or frame is made with wood that came from another structure, so a disassembled structure. And this is our first coop to build. So all we really had was dimensions, back and front wall height, and the fact that they wanted a deck floor. Ain't that right?
Yeah, that.
Everything else we did on our own.
We still got to put the metal roof up.
Yep.
This is just the sub-roof.
It's a sealed structure now. It took about 12 pieces of OSB. Inside was 27 pieces of 2x4 just for the structure, or the wall. That doesn't, 2x4x8s. That doesn't account for the edges up. Just down, that's just around. This will be the future home. Set of chicks. They get a view. Prime view for the chicks. Kai was in there if you didn't see. Back. A lot of trees out here, so sometimes the quickest path is not next to the structure. This is the back of the coop. That's what's behind it. Coyotes. Coming around. And up on this side. Alrighty. Say goodbye.
See you later. Okay, we're off to the hardware store. Ran out of screws. Got the roof on the chicken coop finally. Putting some decorative pieces on there, but ran out of screws, so heading off to the hardware store once again.
Grocery store slash hardware store slash Walgreens slash general store. What is it not?
Yeah, it's where we have everything.
Furniture store.
So one of the thoughts that I was having about being out here in the wilderness is the absence of stress. There's just very little stress factor going on right now. I mean, we're building a chicken coop and we're you know, doing all the things that we need to do on a daily basis to survive, just taking a bath, cooking, doing dishes, tidying up, laundry, you know, anything that needs to be done. And you know, we don't have to worry about traffic. We don't have to worry about standing in line. I guess the worst it gets sometimes is when you run out of screws and you have to go to the hardware store to get some. but I'm kind of a pack rat, so I have a lot of hardware from hardware stores that I've accumulated over the years, and I brought it all with me. So preparedness is one of those things that you know, you absolutely have to depend on out here. If you're prepared, things go a little quicker. If you're not prepared, then you might have to wait a little bit longer. But our storage shed is a little bit of a walk, as you can see from where the chicken coop in our cabin is. But we don't mind a walk. It's a beautiful walk. So I'm gonna let Nikki share a couple of thoughts with you about preparedness and being out here. So while I get my screws.
Where am I at? Hi. All right. Well, one of the things I've noticed about preparedness is that, and we talked about it earlier, was adaptation. You know, you learn to, and this chicken coop has kind of taught us this, but you learn to use what you have and the resources that you have to do the job. So like today, we were short a little bit of wood. So we had to come up with a solution with what we had to create, Albert called it a facing or a face, that was actually, thanks, that was actually quite nice. And that being said, he used what we had left over to do so. And that's preparedness. You know, we got to save our chicks from sideways rain and things, so that we need something like that. And having what you need without hoarding, if that makes sense. You don't have to hoard. You don't have to collect toilet paper. But, you know, having what you need and enough of what you need to get you through a set amount of time is essential. Even more so out here, but I think out here is just reflective of back there. We had what we needed there, and we have what we need out here. So that being said, preparedness is everything. There's no right way or wrong way if you are prepared, having the things that you want in your life, and you have the things that you need. So for us, we're building, creating, putting together, and therefore we need screws, we need tools, we need hammers, nails, boards, lots of boards. There's lots of wood out here, but no boards. So that being said, I think preparedness, you know, even having dog food, having ample dog food for Kaya is super important. So preparedness is everything.
Yeah, well, I'm done at the hardware store. Got what I need, and gonna get back to building. It's one of the things that I get to do out here that I didn't get to do back in Texas. Lost somebody.
What is that?
I was always working and never got to. It's some kind of animal hair. Probably horsehair. Always working, always answering to everybody else, preparing everybody else for their needs, and preparing everybody else for their excursions and desires and necessities.
Keeping them happy.
Yeah, so
At your own sacrifice.
when you work a job and you take on the role or responsibility of serving the public, or even working in customer service, or even owning a business or anything, you're always at the expense of somebody else and pleasing them and making them happy and making sure they're getting what they paid for. But at what point do you decide that you need to make yourself happy? You need to make yourself fulfilled. You need to meet your needs. You need to prepare for your life.
You know, my dad always said, pay yourself first. And so that doesn't just apply to money. That applies to Sadie. It applies to preparedness, it applies to happiness. You always pay yourself first. Go ahead, sorry.
You're fine.
So, paying yourself first out here, like he's saying, we were giving to everyone else, giving time, giving resources, giving money, giving gifts, giving things. I'll call them resources. That can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But when you give and give and give and give and give, you know, there is a return on investment. And I'm not suggesting don't give, but what I'm saying is that you have to give to yourself just as much, if not more, as you give to others. Otherwise, you'll be out of balance. When you're always giving to others, then you're sacrificing yourself. So I must give to myself first. Albert gives to himself first. We give to each other first. And anything residual, we give away to others. Yes?
Yes. So wrapping it up, you know, part of preparedness is taking care of yourself, making sure you have what you need to fulfill your needs and your emergencies, because when things like what are happening now in the world happen and you didn't prepare for it, then you go into these states of panic and
social uprising. What's going on across the nation right now?
Yeah, there's
Arizona and Austin and Michigan.
Yeah, there's going to be lack, there's going to be scarcity, and there's going to be fear. And when you live in those vibrations of existence, those are the lowest vibrations of existence that you can possibly live in. So there's always going to be drama. There's always going to be some kind of catastrophe going on in the world if you don't prepare properly. And part of being prepared is putting yourself first. What do you call it? Not being selfish, but being
self-reliant, self-full. Self-full, I think, is the best way to say it. It's not selfish, it's self-full. You always take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of your circle. If you take care of others first, you have nothing left, you have no residual to take care of yourself, and you don't have anything to give to, you know, I'll just use a marriage as an example. You don't have anything to give to your spouse. If I'm giving to fundraisers and giving to this organization and giving my time to doing this for the church and giving my time to these people, what do I have left over for me, and what do I have left over for my husband? So it's extremely important to be self-full, and that's not selfish, and that's a hard concept for many of you to grasp, because you think that service to others should come first. Service comes first, but how can I serve myself so that I'm able to serve others?
So we're going to get back to building on this chicken coop here, and just wanted to drop a little line as we walked down to the hardware store and got the screws that we needed, because
it ain't YOLOs.
You know, we have to be self-sufficient out here and be able to take care of ourselves. So we did it, and we're going to get back to work. So we'll talk to you later, and like, subscribe, and share the video, comment. Let us know what you think about preparedness and what preparedness means. So we'll see y'all later, and a little bit of love. Take care.